Good afternoon to everyone. How you guys doing? This is RideAlong. After I say a difficult day, a hard day, it's one of those days. You see, Thursday for me is a day that I spend in class. So I have a class that I teach. So I spend a difficult day today trying to analyze how I would approach this program. And for those of you who've been waiting all day, I've been thinking all day, you know, and one of the things I was thinking about all day is how do I present a story that is so touching and that is so riveting and so life-changing in the life of a particular individual. But before we go any further with the program, I want you guys to do me a quick favor, as you always do and as you always know. I want you guys to start sharing the program for me. I want you to share it to the world. Let people know, invite friends, let them know that we're on live. It's still fairly a new program, so people need to be reminded that 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., that's where we are. You need to share the program. So in the meantime, taking some Valley Ned while you share the program. Song in the background by Valley Ned. Oh, also I told you guys that I'm going to be giving away some Spice Mask t-shirt to the first set of people who's in the chat and who share the program. I got the Spice Mask t-shirts right here, so you guys share it. After the end of the program, I'll know who shared the program, who was here first, and that's how I'll be able to give away the t-shirts. We have all colors. We have the orange, we have the black, we have the blue, we have the burgundy. So we want you guys to share the program, and you're going to be able to get a chance to win one of those Spice Mask t-shirt compliments, Spice Mask Corporation in Grenada. Alright, so share the program. And as we do always, I want to take this opportunity to big up everyone in the chat room. So let me know where you're chiming in from. Let me start. Big up everyone there. I see Shane, I see Mystic earlier. Big up Mystic. Big up Patricia. How you doing? Who else is in the chat room? Let me know where you're chiming in from. Ray. The orange. You want the orange one? Make sure they share the program. You see the orange one? We have all sizes. Spice must have all sizes. Share the program. Kariko, big up yourself. Mama Kian. Big up yourself, the folks in Mama Kian. Thank you so much for locking it down to the program right here. New York, yes, I see New York. I see you, New York. Yeah. Nelly Murray, how you doing, Nelly? Thank you so much. We're chilling. Maryland. Yeah, I see Maryland. Yeah. Wait, lovely Simone, you in Grenada? I didn't know you was in Grenada. Patricia, of course, Toronto in the house. Ottawa, oh, you're from New Jersey. On the train, we'll have to watch over. Yeah, if you're on the train, you might get some bad signals, so you have to watch it over. Maryland, Montgomery, St. George's. Alison Newton, how you doing? Teresa Fleury. Hey, Junior. Good evening to you. New York. Everyone. Wait, Rich Image. Big up yourself, Rich Image. Joanna. Hey, Patricia. Hey, I gotta big up Rich Image. Rich Image doing big things, and you know what I mean? We have a lot of things to talk about as well. So, guys, keep sharing the program. And I want my guest, who is somewhere in the chat room, to say hi so I can start pulling her in, alright? Who else? Adore. Jigsaw. Oh, I didn't get that. Red Tape. Yeah, Patricia, Toronto have it. Who shared the program first? Who is the first person that shared the program? I'll have to go back. So, Patricia, I want you to look at it for me and tell me who is the first person that shared the program, alright? So we'll know who's getting the t-shirt. So I want my guest, who is somewhere in the chat room right now, to just say something so that we could start initiating the invite so she could start joining us on the program here. So my guest, who is somewhere in the program right now, to go ahead and say hi to me so I can see where you are and I could pull you in. Colleen Bailey, how you doing, Colleen Bailey? Patricia, if you could get our guest to say hi and so we could start pulling her in, guys. That's what we got to do right here. It's RideAlong. Trevor, thank you so much. Janelle Logan, thank you so much, Janelle Logan. Appreciate you. Yes. Now my guest is going to be joining us shortly. As soon as she say hi, and we'll be pulling her into the program right here. So if you could get her, Patricia, to say hi so we could pull her into the program. In the meantime, Valley Ned. Yes, Phyllis, we needed to chime in. We needed to chime in. Get her to chime in, Patricia, so we could pull her into the live, okay? Hey, Stephanie, how you doing, Stephanie? Thank you so much. Hey, Joanna. Guys, let me tell you this. For the folks that are getting ready to head down to Spice Mass, Grenada Carnival, in class support, listen to, yes. Guys, we want Phyllis to chime in so that we could pull her into the program. So Phyllis, if you're listening, we need you to chime in right now so we could start the process of pulling you into the live broadcast. It's Ride Along, guys, and today is Thursday, right here. Hey, Brendan Blazer, big up yourself. Roxanne Julian, good evening to you, Roxanne. Hope you're having a great afternoon as well. We're waiting for our guest to chime in. As soon as she chime in, we'll be able to join her live. Marcy Peters, big up yourself. Christine, how you doing? Thank you for chiming in. We're just waiting for our guest to chime in. As soon as she chimes in, we'll be able to pull her in live into the broadcast. In the meantime, we still want you guys to share because we still have the shirts that we're giving away. Okay? Let's go. We're waiting for our guest to say hi so we could pull her into the program. Patricia, if you can assist me with that, getting our guest to say hi. We want Phyllis to say hi so we could pull her into the program. It's Ride Along for today. Today's the 1st, right? Thursday the 1st. Hey, where is it? Kevin, Kanye, Patrick. Pick up yourself, Kevin. In the meantime, guys, what we're doing, we're just waiting for our guest Philis to join us. Patsy, pick up yourself. Thank you so much, Patsy. Patricia, get Philis to say hi. Philis, where are you? Where are you, Philis? Join us in. For our guest to join us, guys. As soon as she chimes in the chat, we'll be able to bring her in live into the program. So Philis, if you're there, Philis, we want you to say hi so we could pull you into the broadcast. Philis, we need you to say hi so we could. Let me see if I can send her an invite. I just sent her an invite again, guys. We're waiting on our guest to join us in. Big up to Kariku, Kenel, Julian, thank you so much. Yeah, alright, Phyllis will be here soon. We're waiting on Phyllis to say hi. In the meantime, it's Ride Along for today. Now, I don't want to preempt Phyllis' story because Phyllis' story is one of survival. And it's a very serious story. It has to do with domestic violence. And a lot of people, women as well as men, go through this domestic violence. And most of the times, it's a difficult process. Now, Phyllis, who will join us, will tell her all her story of survival and how she was able to go through it and still survive and stay as strong as she is right now. So Phyllis, yes, okay, there she is. Bring her in the program. She's going to be joining us soon. Thank you, Phyllis. I'm worried there for a second. I thought you went on a vacation or something. So our guest is getting an invite.
Hello.
Phyllis, now you have me waiting.
Hi, good evening.
Phyllis.
Oh, I said hello earlier and then I got bumped out, and so here I am again after a few little. Oops, there I go again. Sorry.
You having problem with your broadcast, Phyllis?
No, I'm good. My thing was a little bit unstable there for a second.
Okay, we want you to stabilize.
Hi, everybody.
How are you doing, Phyllis?
Can you hear me?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ride Along, and tell me when you stable up your cameras.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Just one. Okay, I think I got it now.
That looks
Can you
much
hear
better.
me?
So how are you, Phyllis? How are you doing
Okay.
today?
I'm doing pretty good. I can say God is good. That's all I can
Are
say.
you
God
there?
is good. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you much better. Folks, this is
Okay.
RideAlong, and we have Phyllis in on the program today. And as we promoted earlier, it's a story of survival of domestic violence, and we hope that her story would motivate a lot of people who is watching on here today, and likewise the entire world who might be going through, or women, men, whoever is going through a situation like that, and see how well it could change their life. So Phyllis, if you would start off for a second, tell us a little bit about you as a person, where you from, and a little bit about your background.
Okay, no problem. Um, I am a Grenadian. I've lived in Canada for most of my life, but in my heart and heart, I'll always be a Grenadian because that's where my navel string was buried. Um, are you able
Right.
to hear me clearly? Is everybody able to hear me clearly?
Yeah, we're
Yeah?
hearing you. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I've lived here since I was 14 years old. I have two beautiful sons, a wonderful partner right now, and a stepdaughter that I love dearly.
Yes.
Throughout my life, after becoming a parent, I went back to school, went to college, become a child and youth worker, which is in the social service sector. Worked with
Yes.
families in high-risk communities for over 10 years, close to 15 years actually. Working with children and youth and their parents within the communities. These clients that I worked with for all these numbers of years, um, the risk factors that surrounded their lives were gun violence, poverty was a big thing for a lot of the youth, and just young people with mental health was one of the areas that was of my interest. So that's the kind of work I've done throughout my career. Um, and right now, I can say that I'm on the cusp of taking a different direction, just so I can put it out there. And before I even say anything more about myself, just let me just take one moment to just say thank God. Like before I can breathe another word, because without
Yes.
his blessing, it would not even be possible to even have this conversation, for you and I to have this
Yes.
dialogue. So I have to give God praise for his good work, for getting me through thus far. Um, yes, there have been many dark days, but without his blessing, I could not be sitting here smiling with you.
Absolutely.
So not that I
Absolutely.
put that out there.
But with that said,
Um, with that
with
said,
that with that said, and the folks in the chat room, they love your spirit thus far. You sung Bunksy. You look like you're ready for life challenges that's up ahead. But Phyllis,
I
you,
am so
as
ready.
far as you, okay, so let's start from the beginning, Phyllis. Um, Tell us what changed your life, or what was the point, the time of your life that everything changed, made a 360.
Oh boy. What changed my life started 3 years ago, May, because this month that just passed, I celebrate my third year of survival. 3 years ago, May
Yes.
2nd, changed everything about
Yes.
my life. It changed the way I looked at the world. It changed the way I looked at um, the people in my circle. It
Yes.
changed the way I look at my own career path. It's changed the way I look at me. There isn't any other way I can express how much of an impact that day, May 2nd, had on my life. There are very little words I can use to fully describe the impact of that experience.
Let's relive those moments. Let's relive those times. Let's relive those particular incident that changed your life. What really happened? And I saw your bio. You sent it to me. You also sent your video for me, but I did not look at everything because I wanted to be as shocked and informed as everyone else watching the program, to get the information at the same time they're getting it. So my reactions and would be that of everyone else. What actually happened to you?
Well, prior to May 2nd, I mean, like, I have to put it out there. Prior to May 2nd, I made some decisions in my life that obviously it turned out to not have been the best decision I could have made.
Yes.
Relationship, since I was 23 years old, we broke up on numerous occasions for the same reason,
Uh-huh.
of being violent and aggressive. And for some reason, I got back there. And we will talk a bit more about that because through the journey of recovery, I've had a chance to really look back at my life and really analyze and explore
So hold
what
on.
got me to that.
You've been in an abusive relationship where your boyfriend, was it your husband or your boyfriend?
He was my partner. I was actually married to somebody else. And that relationship dissolved, and then we got back together. And it was that promise of, don't worry, it will be different this time. I've
Right.
learned my lesson,
So
and I believed it
right,
because I think there was a part of me that wanted to believe that,
right.
a part of me that really honestly believed to some degree that everyone can make this dramatic change.
Yes.
And what I learned thereafter is that change is not, you cannot expect a change from someone. What you have to do is to make that change for yourself.
Right.
So I made those decisions and I ended up back with this person.
Uh-huh.
Um, and we were living together for about 2 years.
Okay.
And there was a particular incident where he became physically aggressive. In the 2 year time that we were together, like, the verbal piece was always there, but it never escalated to physical. It
Right.
escalated to physical one evening when I went out with some friends and I came back, and and he was very upset that I
Yes.
didn't come back much sooner. And
Right.
he suspected that there had to be something else or some other situation, which was definitely not the
So he
case.
was accused you of being with
He,
somebody else. He accused you of being with somebody else.
of course, and God is my witness, that was not the case. And
Okay.
but at the end of the day, that is completely irrelevant. What I went
Right.
through, it doesn't
So
matter what
let
anybody have
hold
done.
on. Hold on. Let me get the speed up where we are. So you were with this person. This person at the first time was physically abusive to you. That was the first time he was physically abusive to you. Nevertheless, the
Yeah.
relationship continued. What happened after?
So just to clarify, there were violence in the relationship throughout the years of the relationship. Hence
Right.
why the relationship dissolved on numerous occasions. The very
Right.
last time, I decided to give one last chance, and then it took about a year and a half before the physical aggression began. On that day, in January of that year, I made a decision to leave this relationship. And the individual did not have the financial means to do that independently. So I gave him a chance. I gave
Yes.
him an opportunity to to remain in the home while
Yes.
he got his finances together. That was the premise of that.
Okay. So
And
so so
he was supposed to move on May 1st. First it
yes.
was February, then it was March, then it was May. On May
Okay.
1st, he was not able to move because he said he needed friends to help. At this point, he had his apartment ready, he had his furniture purchased, everything good to go.
Right.
May 2nd happened to be a Friday where he needed to have his family to assist him with his move. So I said, no problem. I went in bed the night before, and for the first time in 3 months, I actually slept because I was so relieved that this man is going to be leaving my house. He's going to be leaving
Right.
our lives. And I was dead set that that last chance he got, he just burned up his free paper with that one. And
Right.
he knew it. He knew that there would not be another chance. So the morning I woke up on the day he was supposed to move out of the apartment, remember, this
Uh-huh.
man already have his apartment and everything else. I had to do some things for my mom. So
Uh-huh.
I was heading out. I was getting ready to head out. And I decided, I'm going to have an egg this morning
Uh-huh.
because that's my routine before I hit the road. I went into the kitchen to remove the egg from the fridge. And he came up from behind, hands around me from behind,
Are you
around my
there?
neck. I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, but you kind of went in and out. But go ahead, I'm hearing you.
So he came up behind me and put his hands around my neck
Right.
from behind.
Yeah.
I honestly thought he was about to embrace me.
Right.
That's what I expected. But because I knew that that embrace would be followed by a plead of, let's think about this some more, let's try to work it out, I immediately put my hands up to push his hands away.
Right.
It was in that moment. It was in that moment when I realized, if you can see, like my hands right here was split because that was his first attempt to cut my throat. That was the
Hold
first
up, Philis.
realization.
Hold up, Philis. 1 second. 1 second. So, folks, let me just make sure people know that they're watching Ride Along, and we're talking to Philis, who's been a victim of domestic violence. She's speaking of her story, the time, the day, the occurrence that her then boyfriend came into the kitchen, embraced her, which she thought it was a genuine hug, but instead it was what?
He was attempting to just slit my throat right open with one attempt.
So he
One
held a
attempt.
knife. He had hold on. He had a knife. He
I
held
did
a knife.
not see the knife. I did not see the knife because he came from behind. I honestly assumed that he was only attempting to brace me so he could ask me for one more chance, something he would have done numerous of times. It was a familiar gesture. It was a familiar movement. It was an expectation. So I
So
did not anticipate.
hold on. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. I want to understand, folks. You watching? I can't see everyone chat right now. I will go back and read everyone chat. Patricia, everyone is very we have Lovely saying, "Oh my God!" A lot of people cannot believe what is happening. I'm going on the chat room here. Davis, Murray, everyone is shocked as I am. Valley Ned, God is good. So he came from behind with a knife to cut your throat.
And I had no clue. I had absolutely no clue.
What happened after?
So as I was explaining a few moments ago, I reached up to push his hands away, and that was my first moment of recognizing that I am bleeding.
Yes.
It happened so quickly.
For some reason, I'm not seeing your video moving. So I don't know what happened there. I'm not seeing your video moving at all. It seems like I'm getting a freeze frame. I don't know if someone texting you or something like that.
On my end, everything looks clear.
Okay. Let me see if everyone is seeing you there. If anyone is seeing Philis. Okay. If anyone is seeing. Okay. So Philis, you're saying that he came up behind you. Let's start back. He came up behind you with a knife to slit your throat.
No, you're breaking up.
You hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, go ahead. What happened after that, at that point?
Oh, shit.
Guys, you watching
Okay.
and we have our guest Philis, who was a victim. She is a victim of domestic abuse. Her boyfriend at the time, as we get in the story, I'm getting the story as same as you get in the story. I had a chance to see her bio, but I didn't go through it because I wanted to hear the information at the same time you was hearing the information. Philis having a little bit of technical difficulties right there on her end. But we're going to attempt to reconnect with her video and make sure, okay, she got disconnected. So Philis, she's going to rejoin us in a little while, but you're watching Ride Along. Let me check out some of the guys. The video is not showing. So Philis, if you could come back in and say hi again, so we'll pull your video in. The story, as she tell her story of domestic violence. Philis, if you're watching us again, just say hi, so we could pull your video back into the broadcast. All right. So I am shocked as much as you are. All right. So as soon as she come back in, I'm anxious to hear the remainder. Philis, if you could come back in and say hi to us, so we could pull back in your video, so you could continue to tell your story. Guys, again, you're watching. Okay, there she is. We're gonna try to pull her back in again. We send her another invite. Hopefully, this fix it. And okay, you're back again. All right. So let's start back to the point where he came behind you, and you thought it was an embrace, but instead it was a knife to your throat. What happened after that?
Within seconds, everything just changed. Because in that moment, I realized that blood was dripping on the floor. And right. I was in such a state of panic that I did not even feel any pain. All I know, my hands was gushing. Right. And we begin, so I was like, what are you doing? And I tried to push him away, and he continued coming at me. I was slashed a total of 14 times, mostly in the neck area, the back of my neck, my back, my arms, inside my hands. So just try to slow it down a little bit. Are you able to hear me?
You're going in and out. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why your video is cutting in and out.
I'm not sure either. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, go ahead. So go ahead, Philis. Go ahead.
So in the kitchen, that he tried to cut me up. I would fight him. I would push him. It turned into a wrestling match, because I recognized that this man is not about to stop what he was doing, that he's going to kill me. And he kept on pushing, and I pulled. Eventually we end up in the living room area. And in that moment, but just to kind of explain a little bit why I was not completely damaged to the point where I was not able to help myself. One of the things, are you able to hear me?
I'm hearing you. Go ahead, yes.
Okay. One of the things that I think really helped me was the fact that I had training in the work I did to deal with crisis. So one of the things I remember learning was to tuck my chin in with someone who was about to attack your neck. To tuck your chin in. And if you look, this is what I did. And the knife just ended up going around.
Yeah, we see. We're not seeing the scar.
So because I tucked my chin in like this, yes, the knife went around my bone area and not get to the softer parts of my neck.
So was he trying to
So,
decapitate you?
sorry?
Was he trying to decapitate you?
He was trying to cut my throat. He was trying to cut anything that will end my life, from the back to the front to stabbing me, all of it. It's I I cannot explain to anyone what would have been going through his mind, but I can speak about what was going through mine. I knew that if I continue remaining in that situation, I would not be able to walk out. So, in quick thinking, I pushed him and he
Yes.
fell over on his back. And because I had really long locks, I had locks that was long down to my back. And
Right.
with me pushing him over, he grabbed onto my hair and pulled me down with him. Now, I am now on top of him, almost in a straddle position. He is continuously trying to stab me in my back. God, I always have to say, God is a powerful God, because not even realizing how badly damaged my hands were, I was still able to hold
Yes.
onto his hand and press it down to the ground so he would not continue stabbing me. At this point, no, I felt like I had a little bit more control of the situation, whereby I was now sitting on top of him. Although I was dripping blood all over his face, all over his clothes, all over the carpet, I was slippery with blood because it was everywhere. And I started to talk to this man. I said to him, think about the kids. Like, please don't kill me. Like, I have two kids, they have no one. And he says, pardon my French, but he says, fuck you and your kids.
Wow.
That was the moment where I had an image of in my head that my children would walk into my apartment after school and find their mother's dead body. And the fear of that, the fear, not even the fear of my own life, the fear of what that experience would do to my children, snapped and changed something in my head instantaneously. Instantaneously. Focus my mind, because I recognized that panicking in that moment